Okay, imagine this. You spend about a third of your entire life in this secret mental world, right?
Yeah.
But you barely remember any of it. That's sleep for so many of us.
Hmm.
And it turns out it's way more active and honestly, profoundly more mysterious than we probably ever thought.
Mm.
We usually think of dreaming as, those wild, vivid stories, the
Hmm.
ones that kind of burst out during REM sleep.
Right, the classic dream state.
Exactly. But here's the thing that's really fascinating.
Hmm.
What about all those other hours your brain is supposedly asleep? Does it really just shut down? Or is it maybe quietly weaving dreams, thoughts, crucial connections, stuff that just vanishes from memory?
That question alone really flips the traditional view on its head, doesn't it?
Completely.
Yeah, the old idea that sleep is just this passive, quiet time like hitting a mental pause button. Well, that's being completely rewritten by modern neuroscience. It's dynamic, really dynamic, not dormant at all.
And that's exactly why we're here today. For this deep dive, our mission really is to peel back the layers of sleep science. We want to look at the latest research on brain activity throughout the whole night and try to unravel this mystery. Does dreaming actually go way beyond just REM?
That's a big question.
It is. And we're aiming to give you a shortcut, a way to get really well informed on this, covering everything from how sleep locks in your memories to how it might spark those creative bursts
Yeah.
that just seem to appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, those aha moments after sleeping on it.
Exactly. Ready to dive in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We probably need to start with the foundations, right? The basic structure of sleep itself. What does a typical night even look like inside our heads?
Well, what's really fascinating is that you don't just fall into one state of sleep. It's not monolithic. Every single night, your brain cycles pretty meticulously through about 4 to 6 distinct sleep cycles. Each one lasts roughly 90 minutes.
90 minutes per cycle.
Okay. Yeah, and within each cycle, you journey through different stages. Each has its own unique signature of brain activity. So first stop is stage 1. This is usually called light sleep. It's that gentle transition phase, drifting off from being awake.
All right.
Your brain waves start to slow down, and you might get those weird, fleeting, sort of dreamlike visuals. That's hypnagogic imagery, sometimes even that feeling of falling.
Oh, yeah. Like when you're nodding off in a chair and suddenly you jerk awake because you felt like you tripped.
Exactly that little startle as you cross the threshold.
Yeah.
Then you slide into stage 2. Still light sleep, but a bit deeper. Brain activity slows down more. But if we were looking at an EEG that measures electrical activity, you'd see these really unique brief bursts. They're called sleep spindles and K complexes.
Sleep spangles.
Think of them like tiny, rapid processing checks, almost like your brain's quiet cleanup crew starting its shift. They're busy filing memories, maybe blocking out minor noises, even in this lighter sleep.
Wow. So even in light sleep, the brain isn't just idling. It's already doing serious work, organized work.
Definitely not idling. That's a key takeaway. It's active.
That really changes things.
It does. And then comes stage 3. This is often called deep sleep or slow wave sleep. Now, this is the really restorative phase. You see these very slow, high amplitude delta waves on the EEG. Stage 3 is absolutely crucial for physical recovery, for repairing tissues, and really importantly, for consolidating long-term memories.
So physical and mental heavy lifting.
Exactly. A lot of the crucial maintenance happens here. And finally, nestled within these cycles, you hit REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep.
Ah, REM, the famous one.
The famous one, yes.
Yeah.
The stage most people link with vivid, often bizarre dreaming, marked by, rapid eye movements under your closed eyelids, very active brainwaves that look surprisingly like you're awake, and crucially, muscle paralysis. Atonia.
Right, the muscle paralysis. That's the brain's clever trick to stop us from leaping out of bed and acting out our dreams, isn't it?
Precisely. Keeps you safe while your mind goes on adventures.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I've heard that these REM periods, they aren't consistent through the night. They get longer later on.
That's spot on. Your first REM cycle might be quite short, maybe just 5 or 10 minutes. But as the night progresses, especially in those cycles closer to when you wake up, your REM periods can stretch out significantly, sometimes up to an hour long.
Which is probably why the dreams we remember are often from just before we wake up.
Very likely, yes. You're more likely to wake directly from or soon after a longer REM period.
It's fascinating, though, because REM sleep has been basically the dream stage in popular understanding. But like you said, the new research is really challenging that idea, suggesting dreaming isn't just confined there.
Hmm.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Okay, so let's zoom in on REM sleep for a moment. We've all heard this is the main event for dreams, happens about every 90 minutes. It's where we get those super memorable, sometimes totally fantastical dreams. What's actually happening in the brain then? Why so vivid?
Well, during REM, your brain activity, it actually mirrors being awake quite closely in many ways. It's like a heightened state of internal awareness, but disconnected from external input. Key areas like the amygdala, that's your emotional hub, and the hippocampus, the memory librarian, basically they become highly active.
Ah, emotion and memory centers firing up.
Exactly. And this intense neural chatter is precisely why REM dreams feel so vivid, so story-like, and often so emotionally charged. You know, dreams of flying or weird scenarios or even reliving events from your day, but with this intense feeling. That's the REM brain hard at work, creating its own reality show.
So it's not just random static, it's structured, like a coherent, maybe emotional narrative playing out.
Pretty much. Neuroscientists like Mark Solms, for example, he's done a lot of work here. Studies link REM dreams directly to processing emotions, integrating our daily experiences, even regulating our mood. It seems to be a fundamental way our minds make sense of things, consolidate what we've learned, maybe even work through difficult feelings. It's like active mental housekeeping.
Yeah.
Very active.
And we spend a decent chunk of the night in REM, right? Something like 20–25% of total sleep.
Yeah, about a quarter of adults sleep, roughly.
Mm.
And like we said, that percentage tends to increase in the later cycles through the night.
The EEG readings show those fast waves, beta and theta, looking a lot like we're awake. It's quite something.
It really is.
But as you've hinted, this idea that dreaming only happens in REM, that's really being questioned now. So if not just REM, what about non-REM sleep? Was it really just a blank void?
Yeah, for a very long time, non-REM sleep, which is stages 1, 2, and 3 combined, was widely seen as, well, pretty much dreamless. The thinking was the brain just quieted right down, doing basic maintenance, maybe. But modern research has quite decisively shown that's not the case. We now know the brain stays surprisingly active during non-REM stages. It's processing information in ways that, frankly, seem an awful lot like dreaming, even if the experience is different.
Right, like in stage 2, those sleep spindles you mentioned, they're not just noise, they're actively involved in memory consolidation, right, strengthening connections.
Exactly. They help solidify memories and integrate new information.
And deep sleep, stage 3, with those slow delta waves. It's not just physical rest, it's critical for shifting memories to long-term storage.
Absolutely crucial for that.
I remember reading, I think it was a 2017 article in Nature Reviews Neuroscience, suggesting non-REM might involve microdreams, or like fragmented mental activity. Less vivid, sure, but still something going on.
Spot on. That's a great way to put it. When researchers wake people up during non-REM sleep, they often do report something. Mental images, stray thoughts, maybe vague feelings or snippets of narrative. They aren't usually the elaborate, cinematic, often bizarre stories of REM. Think less movie, maybe more like still photographs or just thinking about things, abstract thoughts perhaps related to recent events or problems.
So different flavors of mental activity.
Exactly. Non-REM dreams, if we call them that, tend to be subtler, more focused on recent, maybe mundane stuff or abstract concepts, and they seem to play their own role in problem solving and emotional regulation, just maybe in a quieter, less story-driven way than REM. It's a different kind of internal processing.
Okay, so it's definitely not an on-off switch for the brain. These newer tools, like fMRI that tracks blood flow to see active areas and the EEGs you talked about, they really confirm the brain never truly clocks out during sleep, do they?
They absolutely do. These technologies have been game changers. They show this intricate dance of activity all night long, even in the deepest sleep, stage 3, when you'd think things would be quietest. Areas like the prefrontal cortex, your executive control center, for planning and decisions, and the default mode network, active when your mind wanders or you think about yourself, they remain active.
Still active, even in deep sleep.
Yeah, activity levels are reduced, definitely, but they're far from switched off. There was this really interesting study in Science Advances back in 2020. It found complex brain waves, surprisingly similar to waking brain waves, occurring throughout all sleep stages.
Wow. Throughout all stages.
It's pretty compelling evidence for continuous cognitive processing all night long.
That just floors me. It really backs up this idea that dreaming, or at least some kind of ongoing mental processing, isn't just a REM thing. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? If our brains are busy consolidating memories during non-REM, replaying bits of the day, couldn't that replay feel like a form of dream, even a simple one?
Precisely. It seriously challenges that old assumption that dreaming needs the high arousal state of REM. It suggests our brains are always on somehow, always processing, always constructing some internal experience, even if we don't consciously remember it when we wake up.
So it's more like a spectrum of mental activity, maybe? A constant background hum?
That's a really good way to think about it. A continuous hum of mental life rather than these isolated bursts of dreaming in REM.
Okay, so if this complex mental stuff is happening across all sleep stages, or at least there's some dreamlike activity going on, why is it that some of us remember these incredibly vivid, detailed dreams almost every night, while others wake up, draw a complete blank, and are totally convinced, nope, I never dream? What's the secret? Why don't we always remember?
That is a fantastic question, and honestly, it seems to boil down to several interconnected factors influencing whether we recall our dreams or not. One of the biggest ones is simply the sleep stage you wake up from. If you happen to wake up right during or just immediately after a REM period, well, your chances of remembering a dream are much higher simply because those dreams were likely more vivid and story-like to begin with.
Ah, okay, so it's partly just timing luck, catching it fresh.
Exactly. Timing is key. But it's not just timing, there are also real individual differences. For instance, people who score higher on measures of emotional sensitivity, or maybe those with naturally more active imaginations. They often report remembering dreams more often.
Yeah.
It could be they're just more tuned into their internal world.
Interesting. Personality plays a role.
It seems to. Even neurochemistry matters. Levels of certain brain chemicals, like acetylcholine, are thought to play a role in consolidating and recalling dream memories. And then there's just basic sleep quality. If your sleep is fragmented, broken up, maybe due to stress, that can really disrupt dream memory, whereas consistent, good quality sleep seems to help you hold on to them better.
So a really stressful night. Maybe I did dream, but the stress just wiped the memory clean.
That's often exactly what seems to happen. Your brain's resources are diverted. And finally, believe it or not, just paying attention makes a difference. If you make a conscious effort, like keeping a dream journal by your bed, or even just taking a minute right when you wake up to try and recall anything, you can actually train your brain to get better at remembering dreams over time.
Like flexing a memory muscle?
Sort of, yeah. The statistic here is pretty staggering. Estimates suggest we forget something like 95% of our dreams almost immediately upon waking.
95%.
Yeah, it's huge. It seems the brain, as it shifts gears from sleep to wakefulness, prioritizes processing immediate sensory input from the outside world. The dream fades fast. So when people say, I never dream, it's almost always that they just don't remember dreaming, not that their mind wasn't buzzing with activity all night.
Wow, 95%. That's almost humbling, isn't it? Thinking about all that inner life just happening, shaping us, without us ever really knowing. Makes you wonder what else is going on in there. Which actually leads perfectly into one of those intriguing aspects. Sleep's connection to creativity, that hidden processing power.
Yes. This is fascinating. It's not just about rest and memory filing. Sleep is a genuine powerhouse for creativity and problem solving. There are studies, like one from 2021 in Scientific Reports, that clearly demonstrate sleep boosts things like insight generation, those aha moments, and divergent thinking, which is key for finding novel solutions.
How does it work, though? What's happening?
Well, the idea is that during sleep, your brain is busy forming new, sometimes unusual connections. It's integrating ideas that might seem totally unrelated during the day. It's connecting the dots in novel ways.
Like finding links between things you wouldn't consciously connect.
Exactly. Think about those famous stories, right? Dmitri Mendeleev supposedly dreaming the structure of the periodic table.
Right, seeing the elements arranged.
Or Paul McCartney waking up with the entire melody for Yesterday just there in his head. These might sound like myths, but they point to a real cognitive benefit of sleep.
So it's not just REM doing this creative work.
Probably not just REM. Non-REM sleep, particularly, might be really important for abstract thinking. As the brain processes memories and information without the usual rigid logic of waking thought, it's maybe freer to make those associative leaps. It's a more fluid state.
So this creative boost strongly suggests that even if it's subtle, some form of dreaming or subconscious processing is happening throughout all of sleep. It's like our brain runs this silent, creative background program all night.
It's compelling evidence, isn't it, that the brain is always working, always synthesizing, generating insights we might not reach when we're awake and focused. And, if we zoom out even further, it's interesting how dreams are viewed so differently across cultures and history.
Oh, yes.
In some ancient cultures, like ancient Egypt or many indigenous traditions, dreams were treated as profound messages, prophetic, maybe, or communication from spirits or ancestors. Real guidance.
Whereas now, often, they're just dismissed as random brain noise.
Right, or just physiological side effects. And then there's the personal side. Some people have these incredibly rich, vivid dream lives every night. Others genuinely feel like it's just blankness. You see this range even online today, right? People sharing tips for lucid dreaming, trying to control their dreams, others debating if dreams are glimpses into other realities. It really highlights how subjective and personal it is, but also how universally fascinating.
It's true. A deeply personal thing, but also something that kind of connects us all through shared mystery. But even with all these amazing neuroscience tools and insights, we have to admit, the science of dreaming, it's still got gaps. Big gaps. There are still fundamental questions researchers are wrestling with.
Absolutely. Like, what exactly triggers a specific dream? Are those non-REM mental flickers really dreams in the same way REM narratives are? They feel so different.
Yeah, they're comparable. And why do dreams vary so much between people, or even just night to night for the same person?
And while we know things like stress or diet or certain medications can definitely influence dreams, the content, the recall, the precise mechanisms, we don't fully grasp those yet. But the good news is research is pushing hard. You've got AI helping analyze vast amounts of data now, even more precise neuroimaging. The goal is to map brain activity during sleep in incredible detail, maybe even down to the level of individual neurons. Yeah, trying to unlock these remaining mysteries and get a clear picture of this hidden world that takes up, a third of our lives. It's a really exciting frontier in science.
Okay, so if we try to, pull all this together,
Yeah.
the big takeaway, the profound truth maybe, is that our brains just never truly rest. They don't shut down. Sleep isn't passive. It's this incredibly active, dynamic state. Constant cognitive and emotional processing happening. A silent engine running complex stuff all night.
Absolutely. That's the core message. While REM is definitely the heartland for those vivid movie-like dreams we remember, the non-REM stages are far from just waiting rooms. They're critical for memory, for sparking creativity, and as we've discussed, for this quieter, maybe more fragmented, but still vital form of internal mental activity. It's a whole complex symphony going on, always working for all.
So thinking about practical implications, what does this mean for you listening right now in your daily life? Understanding this dynamic nature of sleep, it's actually huge. Knowing that all this beneficial mental work, maybe even different kinds of dreaming, happens across all sleep stages. It really underlines how important good sleep hygiene is.
More than just feeling rested.
Right. Things like sticking to a consistent sleep schedule, maybe cutting down screen time before bed, creating a properly restful environment. These aren't just nice-to-haves. They can genuinely boost dream recall and all those cognitive benefits, better focus, mood, learning.
And if you're intrigued by that creativity link we talked about, just the simple act of keeping a dream journal, jotting things down when you wake up, that can really foster self-awareness, sometimes give you surprising insights, and yeah, maybe even spark some creative ideas over time.
And even for difficult dreams.
Yeah, for people who struggle with nightmares, there are techniques like imagery rehearsal therapy. It helps you consciously reframe those distressing dream narratives. It shows sleep even has therapeutic potential beyond just rest.
That's amazing. And hey, for more incredible deep dives just like this one, designed to help you get quickly well-informed on really fascinating topics, make sure you visit Mind Expansion Daily.
Yeah, lots of great info there.
Absolutely. You'll find a wealth of information, always being updated. And listen, if you found this deep dive as fascinating as we did, or maybe you even disagree with how we've summarized some of this complex research, we genuinely want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Please leave a comment below, share your thoughts, your experiences with dreams. Your perspective really adds to the whole conversation.
Definitely.
And while you're there, please make sure to like this and subscribe to Mind Expansion Daily. That way you'll never miss another one of our deep dives, and it really helps us keep bringing these explorations to you. So, here's a final thought to leave you with. Next time you wake up, just take a moment. Consider what profound thoughts, what creative solutions, maybe what strange and wonderful silent stories your brain might have been quietly weaving for you all night long. The secret life of your mind. It's always active, even when you think you're switched off.